Welcome to the screening of the Bullen Tayee Si Democracy documentary. My name is Chernoge and I'll be your host tonight. What that means is how this election goes this year has a lot to do with what kind of political arena we will be building, constructing in this country. That said, the opening, I would like to call on Auntie Umi to come and give the opening remarks.
My name is Umi Bacheli and I'm the Chief Operations Officer at Sahel, and I also serve as the project coordinator of the projects that we do. So our goal at Sahel Films in the last few years has been to take Gambia a step forward through films, through media advocacy. The advocacy we do at Sahel Films has always focused on working with marginalized groups and minority groups to ensure their voices are heard, using media as a tool for advocacy. This project here is a collaboration with the International Republican Institute, the IRI, through a sub-award funded by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. The documentary we will be screening today is part of a bigger project on civic and voter education as we head towards the December electoral cycle, the elections in December, which is the beginning of the electoral cycle in the Gambia. We say Bullen Tayee Si Democracy because we wanted to focus on the why of voting. Why are elections important? Why is there voter apathy among youths? Why are people with disabilities not included in decision-making process? Why are women marginalized when it comes to elections? And finally, what is our dream for Gambia? As Gambians, where do we want to see ourselves in the next 5 years? We now know what we do not want, but do we know what we want? So today, we will see Gambians from all walks of life, from the people that fought through Gambia has decided to ensure the aspirations of Gambians when we decided in 2016 was upheld. And I would like to acknowledge Amit Wisdom, who was actually the writer of the lyrics of the song. We gave them all the artists and the producer, J Live. E Balde is here as well. We're expecting Kombonga to join us in a little bit. I would like to acknowledge all of them who were given a simple idea and they turned the idea into their personal song for the Gambia they dream of. When you say Bullen Tayee Si Democracy, even people that we did not expect know what is democracy. They were able to define democracy in their own way. So we have to appreciate the democracy that we have and what we fought for over the years. Everyone has a different definition, from freedom of expression to movement to peaceful coexistence to the right to associate to freedom of expression and the right to vote and participate. For me, democracy is all the rights that we enjoy every day and sometimes we take for granted. We have a right to participate and vote, but it's our responsibility to make sure that the elections are peaceful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Auntie Umi. So we will call the next person who will be given the opening statement, who will be addressing us. That is the representative from IRI, Robina.
I think some of you are wondering, and this is a question that I think I was asked when I first arrived in this country way back in 2017. Why is IRI here? What is your interest? So it's always a question about why is IRI interested. IRI is not voting in this election, so why are we interested? And I would like to share IRI's mission. Ours as the International Republican Institute is to advance democracy worldwide. So we are interested, that is in as far as our interest is concerned. And we do then provide technical and financial assistance. And in this country, as I said, we started to invest in this, the journey towards this 2021 and 2022 and 2018 elections in 2017. And we have been implementing several projects towards this end, some of them directly related to elections. We've been supporting electoral reform work, we've been supporting constitutional reform work, but also others indirect related, like financial. We do support, and we have supported, we have enhanced the promotion of fiscal transparency, but also we do work on other activities. And as Umi indicated, the project is part of the activities supported by an award from the International Republican Institute. It's a sub-award because the main award is to IRI from USAID, and then we shared some of that money with Sahel as part of the larger project that is aimed at promoting constitutional and electoral reform in this country. And there are also 3 other organizations that received part of this award to reach out to the ordinary Gambians, which is very important. That is where our interest is, that in all the countries that we work, in all the 60 plus countries, and countries that are practicing democracy, it starts with the citizens. So thank you very much, and thank you for joining us, and I hope you do enjoy the documentary.
Check 1, 2. It's O to the MID. Everywhere I go, I don't need ID. They don't know who I be. But I'm just not your average MC.
Yeah, pretty fella. If I bring you what's in yeah. Bullen Tayee Si Democracy. Bullen abuse democracy. Moi sunu tole si pireumi. Tame votas kate gambati reumi. Olumanendinya. Kuneka kena tempo rexi jama. Bunyo hair, bunyo kulo, nin sama sunu jama. Politik, jai musta du jai. I'm fit, election bangin yo. Kena bu fit.
In my own words, Bullen Tayee Si Democracy, I think is a very apt caption and title. For 22 years, we lived under a dictatorship that pretended to be a democracy, and the people were tired, and they gave up. And when we gave up, tyranny and dictatorship reigned for 22 years.
You know, this project actually has been real to me because, you know, the part with the voter apathy, I myself, I felt a lot of that. You know, I've felt the need to not vote for quite a while. You know what I mean? I think during the whole period of dictatorship, I don't think I voted for a lot of the times because I just felt like, you know what, we all know what's gonna happen. It's gonna, you know. But obviously, because it was the anger, you know what I mean? It was the anger at the way things were going. Yes, We were fighting our own fight, nation in pain. It was during the times when there was a law that was being passed, or sort of like a warning that no one should say this country is hard.
Of rights enshrined in the Gambia's constitution under Chapter 4 grants all citizens aged 18 and older the right to take part in the conduct of public affairs directly or through freely chosen representatives, as well as to vote and stand for elections for public office.
Képp koo xam ne juddoo nga ci réew mi war nga am sañ-sañ doon koo xam ne doon dara ci réew mi parce que juddoo ci réew mi rek doyut but also lan nga def ci réew mi ba nga fi nga juddoo.
There is a big group of people who believe elections do not really make a difference in their lives.
Citizenry must never be tired. They must always be informed. They must always be active. They must participate. And every citizen must participate. Every demography. It should be inclusive. That means young people, women, men, and people who are called disabled or hard of hearing, amongst other things. It is important that all views are heard.
If you look at the political parties, persons with disabilities are not being given chance to contest.
Elections are important in any country that practices representative democracy.
Most of these executives of political parties, you'll find very few or no persons with disability who can at least represent their communities.
Xale yi mag yi ndaw yi lafa yi yëpp ñu ngi wax about this election dafa crucial trop loolu la benn bindkat wax tamit mu ne reality is the combination of two contradictory forces but when the one surpasses the other that's the explosive stage so léegi nan déglu koo xam ne mu ñu wax dëgga ni koo xam ne tamit mu laa wax ne si juróom at bi mun naa jox liggéey mun naa sampa ay nangami lopitaan ak nangami school kooku tamel waxam bi nga xoolaat ko bu baax dal mu la wax ndax mun na ko ndax munu ko ndax mun ko waree pour am sa carte.
Elections have consequences.
nga war a xam ne man réew mii laa fi am te mënuma dëkk feneen kon réew moom daf la war a yitteel ba waruloo xa nekk koo xam ne da ngay nekk ëmb bu ñuy yóbbu waale rek soo élection jotee nga ne man dama tayal a dem sànni ji élection non déedéet.
You are given the right to vote for whoever you want to vote for. We call it your choice. And whatever happens, he wins or he loses, or she wins or she loses. That is it, because that's your choice. You have chosen to vote for and to go in for.
Elections are decided by people who go out and vote. Not voting is giving up your voice.
Because democracy is about the convergence of different ideas. Ideas sometimes, are not popular or minor ideas, but it's important that every voice counts, even though the majority voice prevails, but that doesn't mean that you silence the voice of the minority. So it's very, very important. Of course, we all have to talk about religion, Christians and Muslims alike. We are 95% Muslim, but also the voice of Christians, or even those who are not into religion, matter. For me, that is very important, and that's why it's important to build a democratic culture. And you cannot be tired, because this is a long time, it's a marathon, and you have to instill the culture, and it's like a tree that you grow and nurture and build for generations of Gambians to enjoy.
Since I'm a business student, I would just see the country as a company. When it makes profit, we are the ones that enjoy it. And when it makes losses, we are the ones that suffers. So this company called the Gambia is our business. And we only prove it by voting.
Bullen Tayee Si Democracy.
Democracy for you and me.
Democracy must in your dollar free.
Decision without voting. You only prove that this company is This company, the Gambia, is ours by voting. That is why I like the part where Ms. Jobi said, Sani kata moy lu ñu war. Because it proves that we care about our country. We love the country. And we want to decide for what happens in our country. We want to decide who takes care of this country.
Voting gives a citizen an opportunity to be part of the decision-making that affects his or her life and the future of our country. If you don't vote, others will make that decision for you.
benn kàddoo booy laago mun naa daane nit waaw kon ñooñu dañ leen war a bàyyi loo xel ndax yàlla ñooñu leen dénk dañ leen war a bàyyi xel waaye ñoom itam bu ñu reluctant bu ñu tayal jàpp ne seen kàddu bi amul solo fekk ne yow sa benn kàddu boobu rek mën naa daane nit.
Elections allow ordinary citizens to decide who will make decisions on important issues on their behalf.
Because they have the belief that having disability doesn't mean that you cannot participate in any decision making, you cannot participate in any development. That's the wrong concept people have here in the Gambia.
To make sure the person who will represent the people in those seats will be somebody who have the interest of the minority in head and at heart. So that is why it is very important that minority groups such as young people, such as people with disabilities, participate in all levels of the electoral process, being it through post and during elections.
ci ne ku dëkkee ci réew ku ne da nga war a am kàddu ndax comme que su réew mi jariñoo su yokkute amee dafa war a feeñ ci yow su wàññeekoo dafa war a feeñ ci yow moo xam borom kàttan nga ku man nga ku tële nga kon ñi dëkkee réew ñëpp dañu war a am kàddu ci ni réew di doxee.
looloo tax am na solo lépp loo xam ne ci réew mi mu ngi yëngu képp ku nekk ci réew mi war nga ci koo yëg war nga cee bokka war nga cee def dara so am na solo pour képp koo xam ne mu ngi ci réew mi ngay yëkkatoo kàddu Gambien am carte am na solo sa kàddu am na solo parce que yow sa carte pour wax li la neex lu la naxari li nga bëgg ak fan nga bëgg réew mi jëm kanam.
Democracy only works if people participate. It takes constant renewal among citizens to make democracy flourish.
ñàkk sànni karta dafay mel ni tamit dangay wàññi sa doole kon ku am karta pour war koo sànni juróomi at yu nekk pour wecci wala taxawal ku nga xam ne moom nga bëgg pour mu continuer di nekk njiiti réew mi loolu si sànni karta rek nga ko mun a amee kon képp ku am karta génnal nga dem sànni ji sa karta.
So we should try to know why are you voting? Why are you voting for this party and that party? We should know at least the basic concept why this party is trying to do.
So I'm urging all my following Gambians, also youths, to vote, in the upcoming election, for which I think will be a very relevant thing I say. And if we are voting, we should not vote for, as he said, for a particular tribe.
In December 4th, Lambanko Nyanta Kabe Fele, Hakilo di Bela Katreke Sodi, La Minfanala, Mafa Fire Kuo, Kafotoron, Kobankola Kuo, Nyanta Tara World, and Wayalonga Beta Kodi Kuo. Nusurata Mola Mimbelola Jata Kende, La Fire Fenda Dala, Wafi Bantam, Bain Fanda Fala. Corruption no Yankan Katol, the Fonga Fatala. Sulata Mola Mimbela Nyaso Tala Fala. Sifatan Faso Manke Fendin Teman Nafajala, Agum Milka Tita Ninku.
It is your money. You pay taxes. But do you know how that money is being used?
So su fekkee ne sànni nga carte di nga mun a xam xaalis boobu noonu muy naama bi wala muy lempo bi fan la ko ku nga sànnil carte di dugal.
By participating in the electoral process as a voter, you get a say on how things are done for the next 5 years.
So sànni ji wut carte mel na ni joxoo kooku doole mel na ni joxoo kooku am su fa nekkee nag taxaw mun naa def xaalis bi naka sudut noonu te su boobaa yow mu nga xam ne sànni woo karta mel na ni amoo kàddu pour laajte fan lañ dugal xaalis boobu.
Is this government doing anything about corruption? How can we change this? If at all they don't care about it, anybody can just go and fill his pockets and just disappear. Then your vote can make the difference. So people have to go and vote.
Your power is in your vote. Voting is an opportunity to maintain or change the leaders. Do you feel the current leaders are making a difference and should be given a chance to finish what they started?
Election is like a scorecard. I mean, you elect a leader, and every 5 years you have an opportunity to decide whether to continue with the leader or to change the leadership based on whether or not they've delivered on their promises or the expectations of the population.
Do you feel there is a need to change direction?
If everybody votes their choice, if your choice loses, you will tell yourself, I've actually participated and the person I wanted has lost.
Voting gives you that chance.
But if he wins, it's like it empowers you. Like, I've given this man the opportunity to do what I think he will be able to do, or she will be able to do. So that's the importance of going to vote.
You see, you will create about 50,000 jobs. So, when the halal law, we Gambia the fee. We get a job for a ligay. Oko Guinea, Kanga Sampa factory, they parade start ligay. So, who are you? All I could buba, not the blue buba.
Wajja kutao kwenye sikoras from Mankoji, pare ungarja sikoras manu tep skule, lopitane desi jumas, uma urutu beten na fabukanak janten, sikoras sembai nana sofe pumbe, urung kan jak sofe korai manu jonen, votes kate iya jakumu beten, ngar votes kate iya manu poi jak, aya jebete rung.
Denne, jigéen ku nekk nga am sa carte, ka nga àndal nga ànd ak moom, mu jaral la nag nga wax lu nekk lu baax li nga xam ci moom. Waaye pour saaga keneen parce que ñun dañu war a ànda ëllëg pour liggéey so for that reason ñun tamit am nañu responsibility boo xam ne pour wax lu doon dégga am nañu responsibility pour loo xam ne buñ tasaare loo xam ne du dégga lu ñu wóoru tamit buñ ko tasaare ba pare buñ bokk tamit di dem ci mbir yi ci social media di seetaan mbir yoo xam ne dafay indi xaajaloo ci réew mi.
ki nga xam ne sax dafa dajee ci social media bi benn wax bu ñaaw masalan waru ko share lam wara njëkk a xeex mooy waru ko share ñaareel bi teg ci na ca comment pour digal kiy wax na soppi language am na génnee su ñëpp di def nii rek mbir mi dana def.
Without peace you cannot develop. Without peace there will be no food. Without peace there will be no work. Peace has to be there. So when we begin to fight each other because of somebody, or because our candidate did not win, or because we should win, they should lose, elections come and go, and we will still be here. So let us conduct it peacefully. You get up, go and cast your ballot, and then come home. Na honyo kananke ngakebe gasirito osuni pane omakagaja osuni pane onamedaro otengarini karosumbogu ondaga ote omakagaja onsage kanija mundo kheri osugani setani onaladaya antale minaku antahirisaku karosunambogu onaga kochense dileminenta kedi.
Democracy only works if people participate. It takes constant renewal among citizens to make democracy flourish.
Because voting a president is different from voting your parliamentary member. Like they will serve you different functions. So that's why it's important to vote at all elections, even at local government elections, to make sure you vote for your councillors, to see that you're well represented. Every day we are crying about the development issues at our area councils. But what have we done about it as a people first? How many of us go out to vote for these councillors?
Kaboom! We get a youth them. Can I mention National Assembly election? You have to vote in the right one. The right members, they pass the laws, best remember, affecting your family members. Local government.
The majority of citizens do not vote. You're leaving the decision to limited number of people to determine how the country is going to be governed. And those limited number of people, if they are voting for a particular individual or party who are anti-democracy, then due to the lack of participation of citizens, then you will have a country that will move towards a direction that is non-democratic.
If you don't vote, someone else will make the decision for you.
Sa ñaka votal kena. Dafa minne votal nga kena.
Wow, okay.
Because yow fekk da nga tok ne man démocratie bi amaluma njëriñ duma vote. Kon kun mu di tana su defee su nekku ci yoon tam mun nañu wax ne yow tam contribute nga ci tana ko.
Even with the issues of women, you know, some women, you see them following these politicians. Some of them don't go to vote. It's sad.
Mun na ñu use xale bu nekk ñu jox la t-shirt pour nga advertise gaay di dugg ci moto yi di daanu loolu dañ ko ba patami school boys yi tamit xam naa ne Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education ñu am ité la pour seen xale yi xam naa ne ñoom dañoo gën a contrôle xale yi waaye xale yi su ñibbee ci kër yi ñaan nañ tamit kilifa yi nañ contrôle xale yi daal ñu dara moytu la ci élection bi di ànd ak campagne di jamante xeer yi ak yooyu di egg ci kaw moto bi di display yooyu daal man def ma dee ragaloo bi ko yàlla bu ko yàlla def kees mun naa daanu suñu xale yi des si so élection bi daal waajur bu nekk na yedda doomam bàyyi sa xel
luwaji sare nenge mojimbeni konjelo emeng andi kinde joy kalabantejo konjelo emeng andi ko homboy mabbe moji fi lady ding konjelo emeng andi joy mene addoy nyamdu ndiyam mitorike on yandi
being in the government, being in the decisions they take, being the institutions of the government, the judiciary, the legislation, and the executive. It's what they do daily in the machinery of government that represents the views and the aspirations of the masses.
Niñ ko tëralee ci démocratie tey islam reject ko ndax mooy ñi dëkkee réew mi ñëpp dañoo am kàddu ci kan moo leen war a jiite ñi dëkkee réew mi ñëpp dañoo am kàddu ci naka lañ leen war a jiitoo ñi dëkkee réew mi yëpp dañoo war a am kàddu ci koom-koomi réew mi naka lañ ko war a partager naka lañ ko war a doxalee su fekkee loolu la islam daf ci kontaan lool te islam daf koy nangu.
If you give up on democracy, you're going to be locked in a cage, just like how Jammeh has done to us, and you will be crying to leave that cage, and the key is not with you.
Jigéen ñi coono bu ñu jànkuwanteel si mbiri dem lopitaan mbiri dem noos waaye gis ku nga xam ne jigéen bu nga xam ne ñun suñ boor suñ dëkk dafay jógee beneen dëkk ñëw ba suñ dëkk Faas pour ñëw rek noos ñu eb leen ci sareet ñenn ñi boot seen doom yi sax pour ñëw lu ñuy wax monthly antenatal clinics yooyu noonu te loolu lu doy waar la kan moo mën a wecci loolu.
Voting is your chance to stand up for the issues you care about.
kan moo war a mën a gën a indi koom-koom ci réew mi kan moo war a mën a gën a indi alal ci réew mi kan moo war a mën a indi yokkute ci réew mi kan moo war a mën a indi yokkute ak am-ami nit ñi kon bu leen tayal bu leen taay it ci démocratie.
And this year election, as we saw, you know, there are many candidates who want to join this election, but the competence, I don't know whether it's there or not. So it is left to us.
I believe it should be even part of our syllabus. In the curriculum, it should be part of there. Why to vote? Every Gambian have this problem. Why to vote? Majority of them, if you ask them, why are you voting? They will say, I'm voting because I like the color. I ask someone, why are you voting? He said, I love this color. What colors benefit us? What tribalism benefit us? This is negativeness. It's stupidity. We don't need it. It's not helpful at all.
You know, even my own uncle is one of the upcoming candidates. I, Modlamin Krang, I will only vote for him if I know that he is competent, you know, to rule the Gambia.
Te tamit bul tara njiit ndik sa mbokk la yena jóge benn area o sa oncle la o nii o yena bokka aada o yena bokka diine déedéet sànni koo xam ne baax na pour réew mi yow réew mi moo gën a rëy loo gis.
So let us vote for competence, not tribal.
Democracy only works if people participate. It takes constant renewal among citizens to make democracy flourish.
These politicians will be going into their communities, campaigning, vote for me, I will do this. They have to challenge them. They have to know really what they have to them. They have to put their interests first and forget about party lines or ethnicity and stuff. I think these are the solutions.
We are in a digital age, so everyone now is fixated on his smartphone.
So people, in fact, when we are on dinner, having breakfast, lunch, when we are chatting with friends, every time we are just on our phones. So why not we bring that education or information regarding about elections, voting, everything, onto what they love using? Because people, they love using their phones.
Yeah.
They are with them all the time.
Yeah.
A new electoral cycle is fast approaching. The first election post-dictatorship in which Gambians now know what they do not want. What kind of Gambia do we want? Do we dare to dream for the Gambia we want? As we hope for a better Gambia, pertaining issues affecting our communities, from youth to women to people with disabilities, need to be addressed.
We can either go forward or go back to a similar system to what we came from. And I guess a lot of us already know what I'm talking about with the things that are happening. And we all want to go forward. We know the Gambia that we want. And these are things that we touch upon in this Bullen Tayee Si Democracy. We don't want to go back to where we came from.
I want to see the Gambia to be a very inclusive and participatory country or society wherein at least nobody will be discriminated against, especially persons with disabilities who have the same or equal fundamental rights and freedoms just like others.
You know, Gambia is a very small country. I always say this, easy to develop, and we are getting a lot of money from outside, either by loan or some other things.
A Gambia where women have space, where what we represent in population numbers, what we represent in voting numbers, we also represent when it comes to representation.
The Gambian dream is to have a Gambia whereby you don't have to think of making it out there or sacrificing in the Mediterranean Sea to make it in other parts of the world.
Suma xalaat sumay nelaw ak suma yeboo lu may xalaat mooy réew mi naka lañ ko mën a yóbbu ci kanam naka la suñ njaboot yi ëllëg mën a ñëw wutuñu ci liggéey bu metti bi su ko defee liggéey bi mu doon lu yombal ci ëllëg.
I think a lot of Gambians are living in a nightmare. A lot of Gambians don't wake up to a meal, having one decent meal, having electricity, having water, having access to education, having access to basic health. I think this, for me, let the Gambian dream start with not building huge skyscrapers or huge roads or multi-million-dollar airports. The Gambian dream is about every Gambian child should have access to education, healthcare, and a decent living. I think that is the starting point.
I am dreaming that one day the Gambia will be a city-state, that from Basse to Koina or from Basse to Kartong or whatever, that we all have all the amenities, all the facilities.
waruñoo tàyyi si waxtaanee affaire jàmm ak waxtaanee affaire élection ak waxtaanee njëriñu démocratie si ñëwee si wàllum élection waruñoo tàyyi pour dem taxaw hardline bi pour vote waruñoo tàyyi pour jiital suñu njaboot suñu mag ak suñu rakay pour ñu dem taxaw si line bi pour vote waaye tamit waruñoo tàyyi suñ voté ba pare ñun ñëpp ñu mun a toog suñ biir kër ñu xaar IEC ñu announce.
We write poems from our hearts, but nations are built with our minds. So I dream big, speak to my brain, plant the seeds and pray for the rain. We claim the future and all its gains. This nation is tired, so let's flip a page. Set the stage. Prepare the patient and pass me the scalpel. Let me cut through the bullshit and expose the disease. This is a surgery, so I'll be precise. Peace is the pulse that keeps this nation alive, so keep it pumping before we all go to bed and never wake up again. Our people have jobs but cannot feed their families. The dream is a strong country, a strong people, a force world status on the global stage, the economy, health, education, agriculture, unity, social cohesion, peace, and the people progressing and prospering as individuals and as a nation. I pledge for peace. I pledge to vote. This is my dream for the Gambia. Keep dreaming. We will get there.
Yes, we can dream for a better Gambia. It can be achieved through meaningful positive engagements, voting, and peaceful elections based on agendas and issues, not on personalities.
Same with the presidential, no vote by emotion, vote them by credential.
Bullen Tayee Si Democracy.
Democracy for you and me.
Democracy, machine your dollar free. kate faye muy nyantut amuy la nyantuti kate faye muy nyantut amuy la nyantuti kate faye muy nyantut amuy la nyantuti.
One round of applause for Sahel and an incredible job they did. What I like about the documentary is that we have heard from almost everybody within the demography of this country. We've heard from the young people, we've heard from women, we've heard from students, we've heard from artists, we've heard from poets. Poets are artists, by the way. We've heard from activists, we've heard from, almost everyone. I think that is what makes this interesting. So keep that in mind, because after the next statement we're going to have, we will have review of the documentary, which means if you have opinions or ideas you want to add to that, you'll be passing the mic for the people present here to share their ideas. Before we call the next speaker, I would just like to say a few things on certain things. So do not obey in advance. You cannot sit on the fence, and you cannot support an idea only because it works for you at a particular time, even though it affects others. So we come to the launching statement, which is going to be given by the National Center for Civic Education. Mr. Ba, you're welcome.
I just want to start by congratulating Sahel for this very, very fantastic documentary. And I'm saying I'm going to perhaps see how best to contact the Oscars for this documentary to be considered for the 94th Oscar Awards in the 2022 awards, Mr. Bachelet, because I think it really deserves an Oscar award. So congratulations to all the Sahel team for it. We have seen the number of people who are following politicians, whether it's at the buffer zone or the Independence Stadium during the nomination. So I think it is important we build up on this momentum to try and translate this huge turnout that we are following these politicians into votes. Because at the end of the day, it is the votes that matters. People really need to come out and vote. That's why at the NCC, we have been stepping up our activities, intensifying our campaign to make sure that people really get to understand the importance of voting. Why voting? Because when they get to understand and appreciate that, then it is important, and that will make them, guide them to come and vote. Not just for the sake of voting, but at least have that important information to be able to make informed choices. We were watching the document. People say they vote because they like the party, the color. People vote because it's my tribe man, or my neighbor, or my friend. And that narrative has to change. We have to make it that people have to understand your vote brings you that hospital you are dreaming of. Your vote brings you that road you want, the constant electricity supply, and so on and so forth. So that's why it is important, because twice a decade, Gambians are presented with this unprecedented opportunity to try to choose someone who occupies the State House. But the December 4th presidential election is just more than choosing a president. So it is a glorious opportunity for us to solidify the democratic gains we have made over the years, so that we can all have the Gambia we want. We can all have the Gambia we dream about. And I think as NCC, we realize and we understand that we can do it alone, even though it is a constitutionally mandated duty for the NCC to sensitize Gambian. But I think it is a collective responsibility. It is a duty for all Gambians to be doing this, so that we can at least get to Gambian to vote. But most importantly, also to promote the peace we enjoy in the Gambia here. And I am hoping that the documentary will be widely shared, so that all people across the country can access it, because it is very representative, very disabled friendly. You had a sign language interpreter at least to reach out to other people, which is very encouraging, because the Gambia belongs to all of us, men and women, including people with disabilities, whose right has been guaranteed in the Constitution in Section 31. So it is important that the election is not only peaceful but also participatory. Everybody has a role to play. So we are very delighted at the National Council for Civic Education, and I would also like to once again congratulate Sahel for this wonderful work, and I will just say, keep it up. We are very happy to be part of this launching. So thank you very much, and I'm hoping it will receive a very rave review among Gambians and all people who watch it. Thank you very much.
We would like to hear a few reviews of the documentary from the people present here.
I can say I'm the happiest person here today, because this video is inclusive, and we really very happy about that. This is the Gambia we want. We want everybody to be on board. No discrimination, no marginalized for persons with disability. I'm very much grateful to say a very big thank you to Sahel and its partners for coming with this great plus for persons with disability.
Bullen Tayee Si Democracy. Like we always say, our guests are going to come on the red carpet, and we're going to talk about actually what we have in there and what they looked at, what they watched, and what they think about the documentary. get into the discussions with our guests and just see what they think about the Bullen Tayee Si Democracy documentary.
It was a very powerful and emotional documentary, to be honest. There's a lot of takeaway. I think one good thing that Sahel has done, all the category of the people, the daily people in this country, the document was able to, get the voices of the people that really matters. And as the title says, Bullen Tayee Si Democracy. Democracy is not for the lazy people. Democracy is an everyday thing. You need to keep building these institutions.
So the document is timely and was well produced and well made. Thank you very much.
What is your dream for the Gambia we want?
Good heavens, we want a Gambia that is at peace, a Gambia that is informed, a Gambia that is democratic, a Gambia that aspires to development, and development for all, really. Development to reach the remotest part of the Gambia.
We may not have to stop with Bullen Tayee Democracy, only by screening it and putting it viral in the country. I think, as I was talking to him, I think the next thing I will be looking at is whenever we are being called, because it falls into my office, when international film festivals or calls being made, and I told him that this is going to be one of the films that I would like to select, and then maybe send it for some of these films to represent the Gambia as well, because it's a good work and it's being done in the Gambia and all that. So I think definitely we should be able to take it to the next level, other than just watching it on our TV and just streaming it around. But it needs to go somewhere where it can represent the Gambia, because technically I think it can represent the country.
I think it came out at the right time, because this is what the Gambian people need to hear. And most of the points that were touched upon were the most crucial part of the entire documentary.
Like, I was sitting there and I felt it, because it talks about Gambia and it talks about what we want, what we are looking forward for the elections. And it's inclusive because it talks about different aspects, not leaving the disabled behind. It talks about different things, seeing the women, the youth. Like, I really liked it, and it was wonderful.
The things that the documentary touched on are very important, and I also wish that I've witnessed it, and I wish that every single Gambian could get a chance to watch it, because I'm gonna tell you, my mind was blown on these things. And there are things that we know individually, but collectively, I don't think we do. And if every Gambian gets to see this, it's going to do wonders, I feel.
Yeah, pretty fella. About me, what's in yeah. Bullen Tayee Si Democracy. Bullen abuse democracy. Moi sunu dole si biir réew mi. Same votas carte am parti réew mi. Onu ma leen di ñaan ku nekk gën a dem vote rek si jaama. Bu ñu xeex bu ñu xuloo ñun sama suñu jaama. Politique jaay muus la du jaay am fit. Élection baa ngi ñëw yow kenn bu fitti.
Nin December 4th la banko nyanta karge fele hakilo di bela karge keso di la min fanala mafa faye kuo ka fodoron ko banko la kuo nyanta tarra wolda faya longa beta ko di kuo ndun sulata mola min belo la jata kende ala faye fenda dala wafi banda mbe fanna fala corruption o mu yankan ka dol di fanga fatala sulata mola min bela nyaso tala fala si fatan faso manke fendi teman nafa jala adum melka titar nyin kuo la lonko mira tela
Bullen Tayee Si Democracy.
Democracy for you and me.
Democracy, mas senhor dole free. Que pouco nega Gambian free.
Gambian, yes, you and me.
Sani kata mo lunyu. Lunyu wafi. Sani kata mo lunyu. Lunyu wafi. Sani kata mo lunyu. Lunyu wafi. Lunyu wafi. Kana jikela tinyani democracy.
Democracy
advantage. Kwanjalo emeng andi ko hombo ema be moji file dinding. Kwanjalo emeng andi jo yurumene adoy nyamdu ndiyang. Mitorike on yandi vote dundandai fight. Kofi Jango vote, what I go to Jodo. Mi jeji on vote, Dundandai Jango vote. Kofi fight and vote, yo lele. Alanda tunka nundaga, kabario kansa garene. Na honyo kanangenga kebega siritoy osuni pane omakagaja osuni pane onamedaro otengarini karo sumbogu ondaga ote omakagaja onsage kandi jamundo kheri osugane setani onalataya antale minaku antahirisaku karo sunambogu onaga ko chense di leminenta kedi dirisenta kedi oswanyera ke jamane no kondi awule majola saragule maserere osuni
yeah, waja kutao kwenda sikoras fa mankoji ye bare ungarja sikoras manu tep skule lopitane disi jumas uma urutu bete na fabukanak janten sikoras sembai nanoso fe pumbe urung jakan jak so korai manu jonen fotes kate iya jakumu beten ngar fotes kate iya manu poi jak ayaje bete rungi
kaboom we get a youth them. Can I mention National Assembly election? You have to vote in the right one, the right members. They pass the laws, best remember, affecting your family members. Local government, you can vote them in, you can vote them out if things not working out. Same with the presidential, no vote by emotion, vote them by credential.
Bullen Tayee Si Democracy.
Democracy for you and me.
Democracy, machine your dollar free. Gambian free.
Gambian, yes, you and me.
Sani kata mwelunyu. Lunyu wafi. Sani kata mwelunyu. Lunyu wafi. Sani kata mwelunyu. Lunyu wafi. Lunyu wafi. Gana jikila tinyanya democracy.
Democracy for you and me.
Democracy lena semboti. Kate faye mwinyantut Amwila nyantuti Kate faye mwinyantut Amwila nyantuti Kate faye mwinyantut Amwila nyantuti